Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, the Bill Crane Report is on the air once again. It's the moment you've been waiting for. My good friend Dwayne Weiss is here, loaded for bear today.
Yep. Hope the popcorn is popped.
That's it.
Beer's cold.
Yep. And Thelma, just 1 or 2 sips of the Jack Daniels while the show is on. I want you sober so you hear every word. Now, start off today on a very serious note. December 7th, a day that will live in infamy. The attack on Pearl Harbor is coming up. That ushered in World War II. Now, granted, the war in Europe had been going on since September 1st of 1939. Well, we had managed to stay out of it. We were supplying the Brits with war material, different goods, but we did not take an active part in the war. On December 7th, that all changed. We were in a war with Japan. We declared war on Japan, and that was that. And that is when Adolf Hitler
Declared war on us.
made the biggest mistake
Yep.
he ever made. That and invading Russia.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah. That was a kiss of death.
when he said, well, an Axis power has been attacked by the U.S., we will come to Japan's support, and declared war on us. Well, there was no happier people in the world than the Brits.
Oh, Winston Churchill was elated. He'd been after that for a year.
Yep. And there was stuff like, we're saved.
Yep.
We spent the next 3.5, almost 4 years in war, at war. Cost us a fortune in young lives and money.
Yep.
I will tell you this, when Pearl Harbor happened, the following day, the young men were lined up at the recruiting centers to join. Unfortunately, that would never happen today.
I was just going to say that would be a total different scenario today.
On that day, America became galvanized.
Yep.
And it's the last time we were ever united as a country.
I just reread Greatest Generation. My son gave it to me for Veterans Day in 2001. I was up and looking through books and stuff. It's time to reread that. It's as good as today as it was the day I read it. And you're right. The things that are in there, the different characters or the different personalities that were described, they're not there today. They don't have that feeling of combined camaraderie or patriotism or anything else. Everything's me today.
That's right.
What's in it for me?
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you totally, Dwayne. Totally. And you know, right down, and I can remember, I was born in 1940. I can remember clearly World War II.
Yeah, I don't.
And my grandparents, saving and scrimping, gardens in the backyard, raising their own food so that our boys would have more, meaning the servicemen. It's everybody pulled together.
Yeah. the rationing, the ration cards,
Absolutely.
the coupons and stuff.
I still
that they had.
got my grandfather's at home.
We got.
Yeah.
I got a thing of meat ration
Yeah.
tickets that I guess my grandparents or my parents had.
I got a lot of things from my grandfather. And one thing that he was so proud of, and he showed it to me quite a few times, was a little stamped metal plate, able-bodied seaman
Okay.
from the U.S. Navy.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I can go on any ship in the world with that card. He said, I go to work, any port or on a board.
So he was a
any ship."
merchant marine?
He was U.S. Navy.
Oh, U.S. Navy. All
Yeah.
right, okay.
Yeah. And he was so proud of that. But I wonder if that were to happen today, whether the rioters would stop rioting and the looters would stop looting and say, I've got to do the right thing now.
Bill, we can't get them to wear a mask, some of these characters, much less stand up for your country.
I know.
Good
I
Lord.
know. It is sad. But we're leaderless.
Oh, yeah.
We have a leader who campaigned for the presidency from his cellar. He couldn't talk to people.
Yep.
And now he's got a couple of talking heads that talk for him. And he's invisible. In fact, if Orson Welles was to write The Invisible Man
Invisible
again,
Man?
yeah, Joe Biden would be leading candidate to be the star of the show.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, that's a poor. It was a sad choice we were left with.
it was. It stunk.
Yeah,
And
Donald
to
Trump or
think-
Joe Biden. Oh,
and to-
Lord.
And you know, there was a great quote yesterday on TV. Someone said, we did not, we rejected Trump because of his personality, not his programs. His programs were great, but the personality sunk him.
Yeah, he's stunk as a human being.
Yeah. And you know, Joe Biden was just like, and you know, so many people have said, well, he's just like Uncle Joe that you invite to a family wedding. He has a few pops and tells a few jokes, and he's sort of just there.
Well, that's pretty much what he is. It's
Yeah.
just there.
A glad hander.
Yeah, it was just the candidate. It was a fallback candidate. The first one was going to get beat. The second one was going to pick up whatever the first one didn't get, and that's what we got.
Well, you know what's interesting, but you know, there's so much junk on television
Oh,
that
my
you
God.
don't know what to believe and what not to believe. But there was a guy on the other night who was talking and said, well, the Democratic Party had no choice. They did some very, very sophisticated polling. Biden was the only one that had a chance against Trump. None of the other, Trump would have beaten all the others.
I don't know about that, but
I don't know about that.
I don't even
either.
know if they the choice of candidates should have been the choice of candidates. I don't even know if that slate up that was up there. They used to do the debates.
There's 16 of them
Yeah,
spread across the.
I'm not even sure that that's the ones that should have been there.
Oh, absolutely. You're absolutely
Because the ones
right.
that should have been there wouldn't do it.
That's right. Now, this morning, a Gallup poll was released. 45% of the people in this country say inflation is negatively affecting their lifestyle.
No, I'm surprised it's not a lot more than 45. Obviously, whoever said that it did not affect their lifestyle hadn't been going to the store much or controlling the wallet.
Big bucks.
Yep.
You know, but it was interesting because the story coming out of Washington is just transitory. It'll be all over soon.
It's not. I think I saw a couple of articles. One economist said it's with us at least 2 or 3 years,
Yep.
if not longer.
Oh, even some of the people, the spokesman for Biden, he won't say it, but some of the spokesmen are saying,
Yeah.
you know what?
Well,
It's past the transitory stage.
and it's a inflationary aspect of somewhat opportunist now.
Yeah.
Everybody, whether they're impacted by supply chain, scarcity of goods, or whatever, everybody's jumping on the profit structure and said, well, I can raise my prices 10 or 12% right now
Absolutely.
because everybody else did, so I might as well do it too.
Absolutely. You know, if just say, for instance, Norfolk was different. Well, we are different, but just say, for instance, we actually had a downtown, and just let's just say, for argument's sake, there was 3 or 4 restaurants.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Well, one guy goes up on his prices.
Yep.
The second guy goes up, and the other 2 go, well, well, let's get it while the grabbing is good.
There was a time,
bingo.
though. There was a time establishment 1 or 2 would go up, and the third one says, well, I'm going to go down a little bit. I'm going to take all the business. Not today. Today, they just sort of let everybody acts in unison. The airlines used to do that, too, because if you call for a ticket to St. Louis, Missouri from here, they tell you it's $2.16, $2 or $216.30. If you call the next airline, $216.30. Every single one of them had it right to the penny. Of course, there was no price fixing, no price collusion, nothing. No. But they, to the penny, and then one would go up. Remember that? And they'd wait to see if the others are going to follow them or not. And sometimes the rest of them would all make the same. Once in a while, one wouldn't go up, and then they'd back off. But they always were nudging each other to get up a little higher, a little higher.
Absolutely. In Norfolk. Now, my stepfather had, Kevin Roach's business, Norfolk Auto.
Yep.
He sold it to Kevin. That was a gas station and a repair shop. And there was him, and there was Brady Johnson up here, who had a store up here, which later became a package store. But he had a couple of gas pumps out front. And it was always, when Jim would get a load of gas from A.J. Forrest, the wholesaler, he'd call Brady and say, they went up 2 cents on gas. He said, I'm going to mark my gas pumps up 2 cents. Brady said, okay, I'll go out and do the same thing. Because it's coming for me next time I get gas, so, or whatever. But they always had the exact same price.
Sure.
And let the people make their choice. If all you want is gas, pull into Brady's and he'll pump it for you. If you need a repair shop, go down and see Jim and give him the business and work with him, you know.
You can always see how this works. For example, just one of the Lard Tyson meat just announced that their profits are up 22%.
Yep.
Now, if their costs are up 10% across the board, but their profits up 22%, you know where the rest of that percentage of increase came from.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, the other side of that argument is I would never deny a corporation a fair profit.
No.
Because
absolutely
I
not.
want them there serving me.
Exactly
and they
right.
can't exist operating at a loss.
No, they cannot.
But
we have to also be careful. We also have to be careful that they don't control the entire market.
Now you're talking. So much of it is how much of the market you do control. You've got pricing power.
Yep.
So you've got to be careful. The thing on inflation, too, I have a note here. The New York Times published an editorial the other day.
Yeah.
They criticized President Biden over inflation. They quoted Larry Summers and Stephen Nather, N-A-T-H-E-R, 2 of the leading economists in the Democratic Party. And they said How could they have gotten this situation so wrong, so badly, saying so wrong, so badly, saying we all warned him about this. And Biden's stooges are saying it's a good sign because we're so wealthy and doing so well that people are spending aggressively. And that's the cause of inflation. That and the COVID virus. It's the rich people that are causing inflation. I don't know whether you knew that or not, Dwayne.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah. But to have these two guys come out in an editorial in the New York Times, that certainly throws the gauntlet down, I would think, for the Democrats. But that was it. No one else jumped on board and said, you know, we've got to get serious about this inflation stuff. It's, I don't know.
It's so tied in today. This started years ago already when we started going into multinational. Everything is A, B, C, D around the world. You can't buy a Chevy today and know it's a Chevy made in the United States. It's got parts from all over the world. I see there's somebody running on political ads that's what somebody is buying a car or sitting cars that's parts made in China. Well, every damn car's got parts made in China.
There's no getting away from
There's no way getting away from it. There's parts made all over the world in an automobile today.
And that's what, you know what, there's economies of scale here.
Yep.
Look, if, an example, I was paying, and at the time, a bracket manufacturer who made interface parts between actuators and valves. He made mounting kits.
Okay.
Now, Jerry Nitz up in Sebowang, Michigan was my guy, and he could make parts to fit anything on anything.
Yep.
That was his job. Well, the Chinese came in, an agent for a Chinese bunch of machine shops, and they came in and said, you know, give us some quantity, and what you're paying $32 for, we'll sell them to you for $2 a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if I could predict out 6 months a logical usage, I would have done it.
Sure.
But you can't. All that valve stuff, that was all custom stuff. I never knew what the devil was coming in the next day. So Jerry was invaluable. The Chinese, if I could have predicted, could I have put some extra money in the cash register.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's the attraction. I'll bring in these things from Korea because they're 10% the cost of making them here in the U.S.
Yep.
I'll bring these things in from India and all that. Then all you need is one breakdown.
Oh, and one break in that link.
Yes,
In that
one
chain,
country.
That's it.
Have runaway inflation or political unrest and you can't get your parts and all of that. And what the heck happens? You're screwed.
Who'd ever thought that our auto manufacturing would practically grind, not to a halt, but down 60, 70% because of a little tiny microchip? You know, not a steel shortage, not a rubber shortage, not a glass shortage.
Not a labor shortage.
No, and a little tiny chip.
Yep. With billions of bits of information on it.
That's right.
It amazes me. By the way, speaking of Detroit, in the auto industry, Elon Musk's comment on Biden's visit to Detroit, a clown show. You know, Elon Musk really is in a position where he just doesn't care what he says.
Why would he?
Yeah, that's exactly right. He's entertaining, but you know what? He's brilliant.
Oh,
Look what he has done.
and brave.
Yeah, he puts his money where his mouth is.
Oh, yeah.
Rocket ships and
SpaceX.
yep. I mean, and you know what? did it himself.
Yeah. What was his source of wealth? I thought about that the other day, and I couldn't remember.
I guess his folks had some money, but he's a real classic entrepreneur.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Amazing. Couple of things here. But I think I'll do this one next. Oh, I'm going to do this one next. Then we'll get back to where we need to be. We talked about the Greatest Generation.
Yep.
My wife said to me, "You actually read all the editorials in the Globe every day."
Yeah, I do too.
I do, yeah. And I clipped a couple of them out. You know, I'm going to read them. James E. Smith, 96, of Plymouth, Mass., passed away. I'm going to skip a little bit of it. Talks about his family and all. Jim was a devout Catholic. He enjoyed fishing and boating. He built his own boat and held a commercial license in lobstering. He was a member of the Neponset Valley Yacht Club in Dorchester and Sandwich. And it goes on to talk about his career as a teacher, and then in vocational education in carpentry and cabinet making for years. Jim was a World War II veteran, serving in the U.S. Army at Normandy, France, Germany, Czechoslovakia, Belgium, and Holland. He was at the invasion of Normandy, D-Day +3, and Omaha Beach, through Europe to Czechoslovakia to the Russian front on the Elbe River. He received the Combat Infantry Badge with 4 stars, the Bronze Star, the French Croix de Guerre, the European, African, Middle Eastern Campaign Ribbon, the Good Conduct Ribbon, the World War II Victory Medal, the Occupation Medal, National Defense Medal, and 2 presidential citations. That's the greatest.
Right. Well, just before we said before, how many more were? There was a lot like him.
Yep.
Today, you'd have trouble coming up with too many people like that. You get a few that are, but I mean, just to take somebody off the street and draft them into the military, and they go in with such enthusiasm and such dedication, we don't do that anymore.
No.
We don't do that.
No. It is love of country.
Yep.
Patriotism. The right thing to
Yep.
do. We don't do the right thing in many of our dealings.
Look how many presidents we've had by hook or crook avoided military.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing I look for in the obituaries. 80 and 90-year-old guys that were never in the service, and you wonder why.
Yeah.
Now, some of them get medical reasons,
Yep.
but others chose not to go. Colonel Dave Severance passed away. Commander at Iwo Jima. Colonel David Severance, the commander of the Marine company that raised a huge American flag over the Japanese island of Iwo Jima in World War II, inspiring the photograph that thrilled the American home front and became an enduring image of men at war, died recently at the age of 102. The flag raising atop Mount Suribachi on February 23, 1945, captured by the Associated Press photographer, was taken when the battle for Iwo Jima was far from over. In the days that followed, Colonel Severance earned the Silver Star, the Marine Corps' 3rd highest decoration for valor, after the Medal of Honor and the Navy Cross. Citation stated that in a firefight for a heavily defended ridge, He skillfully directed the assault on this strong enemy position despite stubborn resistance. Colonel Severance, a captain at the time, commanded Easy Company of the 28th Marine Regiment, 5th Marine Division, part of the 70,000-man Marine force that sought to seize Iwo Jima, 7.5 square miles of black volcanic sand, about 600 miles south of Tokyo. The island, defended by 21,000 Japanese troops, held airstrips that were needed as bases for U.S. fighter planes and as a haven for crippled bombers returning to the Mariana Islands from missions over Japan. Amid heavy casualties, the Marines, by the 5th day of combat on Iwo Jima, had silenced most opposition from Japanese soldiers dug into the caves on Mount Suribachi. And it went on in further detail. After World War II, Colonel Severance completed flight training and flew fighter aircraft missions during the Korean War. Was a lifer with the Marines. We don't have guys like that anymore. Gives quite a write-up about this guy. Folks, when I talk about this, there's a lump in my throat. I can't help it. It's something you need to realize. When the greatest generation, all these guys that went in the armed forces, they were 18 or 19 years old. They were fighter pilots by the time they were 20.
That's right. You're right, they are.
Received battlefield promotions. There was 26-year-old majors, 28-year-old lieutenant colonels in combat that went in as kids and saw combat, not for just briefly, but for long stretches. Yeah, that was the greatest generation.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the thing, they went and did it willingly.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying, nor is Bill saying that we don't have a dedicated armed forces today, because we do.
Yep.
We're talking about the general population, not the people that have elected to go into the military, because they are professional today.
Yep.
The days of the dog face and all that crap, that's gone. Today they're professional, they're technicians. Even if you're infantry, you're still technical because of the sophistication of the weapon systems today. And soldiers today think.
Yep.
In those days they did not, previous days they obeyed.
You have to be bright to be in the service.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even to get in now, some people are having trouble.
We're talking about the support
of
the country and our general feeling towards the military.
Mm-hmm.
It's not respect.
No.
It's they couldn't make it in civilian life. They got to go in there.
Just look at the last few administrations.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Well, we'll probably get a branch off here and talk about a couple of other things that are of interest. I'll really change the tenor here.
That's fine. That's good.
Mark Cuban.
Oh, yeah.
Who's an
NBA.
extremely wealthy man. And
certainly is.
An NBA basketball team owner. Bought the entire town of Mustang, Texas. All 75 acres of it. No residents, but 2 businesses. One of them is a strip club. So that's the Mark Cuban report for today.
I don't know how some of that fits. For him, no,
It
a
does.
town with
It does.
50% of it's a strip club.
Now, folks, here's a heads up for you from old Uncle Billy. So pay attention. How many of you get spam calls at home? I do. I get them so often, I answer them. It drives my wife crazy. Leave it alone, you idiot. And no, she doesn't call me an idiot. That's other days. Leave it alone. And I want to know who it is. So I pick it up. Well, a couple of them that really get me. The American Police Officers Alliance.
Oh, I've gotten those. I
So-
don't usually pick them up, but once in a while I do. Just
Guess what I did?
what?
After I cursed at him, I hung up and I went upstairs to the computer. The American Police Officers Alliance, on their website, a disclaimer. We do not reach out or solicit funds over the telephone.
Yeah.
So guess who is making those calls?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And so many of the calls you get that say, you know, I'm from a dog shelter and we take care of doggies and kitties and they're starving and we bring them in and feed them and put them up for adoption. So won't you help us? Well, if you dig and dig and dig, 96% of the donations are for overhead and salaries.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe they get 2 cans of cat food they buy a month.
Yeah, so many of them are bogus. Don't even bother.
Pure charlatans.
Yeah, don't even. If you want amusement, pick it up. If you get these numbers, and I'm on a 384 exchange, and I'm on the other side. I share an exchange with Rentham, and some of the people here share them with Franklin.
Yes, Franklin. Yeah.
And you notice how they'll take our area code and then your own exchange. Mine came 304. What's yours? 520 or 528?
528.
528, and then there's 4 digits after that. They're just doing that to make it look like it's from your friends or neighbors calling. It's not. It's a blind number. Mm-hmm. You can't call it back. It won't go back the other way. But they're invariably over and over. The other night we must have gotten 6 or 8 of them within a half an hour, all from 384, then 4 different digits on the end of it. And they're usually the same person.
I got one last night or night before last. My wife, by the way, my telephone calls show up on my TV.
Yeah, mine do too.
So Margaret Hickey from Franklin, 528, blah, blah, blah. So I said to my wife, I'll just answer that. She said, it's spam. Yeah, maybe. Hello? Hello? Have you or a family member recently had a hernia operation?
Yeah.
What the hell does Margaret Hickey want to know about my hernias for?
I like the one that says, oh, good, you picked up. Now I don't have to use my recording voice. And it's a recording saying that.
You're harder. Oh, I'm glad you answered the phone. You know, you're harder to reach than
Yeah.
the last pickle in the pickle barrel. And he says it with this southern twang.
Yeah, as if you were supposed to.
Yeah. And I'm saying to myself, where's a gun when I need it? Ay, ay, ay.
I said, I wish there was some kind of electronic device that you just press that and an electronic surge would go down that line and blow up their equipment on the other end.
And him.
Yeah, and them too at the same time.
Ay, ay, ay.
And they use the stupidest stuff. Now I've got 2 this week of your order that you just placed with Amazon for $790 to be shipped to Orlando, Florida. We think it's suspicious. If you didn't place this order, press 1
Now.
to talk to our.
Press 1 now.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
Lord Almighty, how stupid do you think we are?
I get the same thing. I get Amazon, and it's we have a charge on your Visa account for $1,495. If you made this purchase, you may hang up and we will process the order. If not, press 1 now and speak to one of our agents.
I ordered a lot of stuff from Amazon when I legitimately order from. They don't call me back to say,
they
we
don't.
just got an order for $480 from you.
That's why they ask your email address.
Yeah, I said, well, why didn't you ship? My point is, then what? Why are you talking to me and not shipping it?
Do you know that?
That just.
Oh, you know, well, I'm going off script here. Yesterday, yesterday, my wife said to me, your trial subscription, your 1-year subscription to the Wall Street Journal is up. It has now tripled in price.
Yeah.
I said, really? She said, yeah. She said, $600 a year?
Yep.
I said, I will cancel it. She said, well, I'm ahead of you. Here's the 800 number to call. So I called. Dwayne, I got some resident of some far-flung foreign country.
Oh.
And the conversation was, me, I don't understand you. Speak louder. Speak more clearly. What are you trying to say? And then finally, listen, if you can't talk clearly to me, I'm hanging up. Well, then he starts really howling at me. So I said, listen, cut the crap. Cancel my subscription.
Yep.
And do you know what? Before I finished that conversation with him, there was an email come through on my wife's iPad canceling the subscription.
Yep.
I mean, we're talking 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But it was so frustrating. And, you know, the Wall Street Journal, it's a wonderful publication. I enjoy it. $200 a year? All right, that's kind of steep, but still. $600 a year? No way. It's going to be the greatest newspaper in the world. And maybe it is. I don't know. I just can't justify doing that.
They'll keep you on that mailing list for years. No, you will get the
So-
welcome back. We want you back.
So guess what? This guy all of a sudden started speaking a little more clearly. Before I cancel you, I give you special price. 200, he said it monthly. $68 a month. I said, cancel. He said, wait, I have another offer. $42 a month.
Yeah, well, that's,
I said, goodbye.
yeah. There's no bottom on
There's
this.
no bottom on
No
it.
bottom.
Now, I know, and now I won't hear from him. They'll have some smooth talking dude
Oh, yeah.
or dudess
Yeah.
call me and say, hi, big boy, this is your lucky day. You can get the Wall Street Journal for 2 years, and we'll pay you to take
I
it.
actually had a pleasant experience making an order on the phone day before yesterday. I
Really?
called Sharper Image. No wait. No, not 20 minutes, 40 minutes. The phone rang 4 times, 5 times. This young lady answered. She says, my name is Lauren, Sharper Image. How may I help you? Spoke perfect English. You didn't have to repeat anything. Everything was up. Yes, ma'am. And she says, is this Dwayne calling? I said, oh no. She says, is this Monica? Because the catalog came in her name. She says, obviously it's not. She said,
Shop?
oh, she says, and your first name is? All right. She says, and gave me the address and my zip code. This is the card we have in file. Would you like it on this? Yes, I would. She says, thank you very much. Oh, she says, and we get 30% off on that item today. And is there anything I could help you with? I says, no. She says, you'll have it by next Thursday. Thank you very much. Boom. was no
Get a lot
hard
back.
to understand
Yeah.
going back and forth. It was just
Yeah. It's
pleasant,
amazing.
but businesslike, but very pleasant.
Yeah. You know, those people work for a professional company.
Yep.
They're probably fairly well paid, and they do a good job. And they take pride in what they do. Some of the other people, you know, you can tell by their attitude, they could care less what you have to say. Yeah, wait a minute, let me put you on hold for a minute. Well,
Yeah,
come back. And,
I'm having trouble with Smithsonian Magazine. Yeah, I keep getting these things to renew it, renew. You cash the check in October. It was one of them buy one, get
Yeah.
a prescription and you get a subscription for free for somebody else. And I finally got a number by going through on the online and going through all the different phases. I finally found a number. And I called it. She said, yeah. She said, we cashed that check has been, your account's been processed. I said, but they couldn't tell me why I keep getting these. Of course, I couldn't understand her either because
Yeah.
that was another one of those that
from the Philippines?
I suspect India.
Okay.
But you either get Philippines, India, sometimes some South American. This one's a R roller, that
Okay,
diction.
I seem to get the Philippines quite often,
Yeah.
and India.
Yeah, India's too is another one.
By the way, speaking of obnoxious ads on television, misleading.
There's no shortage of those now.
Do you realize that gold is your best hedge on inflation? Do you realize that, Dwayne?
No, I didn't.
Well, so I got mad the day this happened. So, not mad, but I said to myself, I got to look up something. So I'm back 10 years. All right? So the day that this happened, gold was at just about where it is today, $1,780 an ounce.
Yep.
10 years ago, August 22nd, 2011, that was the day that I did this, was obviously 2021, but August 22nd, 1891.90 an ounce. So it's down 6.2%.
Yeah, from it's
Yeah,
not
so-
reached its all-time high again.
You know, that's quite a hedge on inflation, huh? For 10 years, tie up your money and lose money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So, and I don't do that to pick on gold. If you want to invest in gold, that's up to you. But for them to come blasting on and saying, you know, the other thing too that gets me is Tom Selleck
Oh, yeah.
and the reverse mortgages. And I'm right off the top of my head, I forget the name of the insurance company.
EIG, I think.
Yeah. They must be the richest company in the world.
Oh, they're huge.
Because that ad with him, those ads with him on, are on constantly. And some of them are old.
Yeah.
And they keep on rolling him out. My word. But there's things about reverse mortgages that don't work out to your advantage. And we have to be careful. We're not financial advisors
No.
on this.
But you got to remember, reverse mortgages are what they are.
Yeah.
They're neither good nor bad. They are what they are. To some people, they may be a lifesaver. To somebody else,
Depends on what your situation
That's exactly
is
right.
and what your family says and what a trusted advisor says to you
Yep.
that, you know, in your situation, this is probably the best thing for you. Well, but if, and the other one too, selling your insurance.
Oh, yeah.
Did you
yeah.
know you can sell your insurance? Now we can relax and enjoy our retirement. That clown and his wife sitting in the lawn chairs.
Yeah, the damn fools don't know if they're going to sell it. They probably got a prepaid value to it already for 70,000, and they could turn tomorrow, make a phone call and cash it in. They'll sell it to somebody else for 50.
Well, here's the thing, Dwayne. I did some research on the internet about that. The people that you call on that 800 numbers, they get 30%. They're fact finders.
Yeah,
They-
oh yeah, the commission is huge on those
30%.
things. Yeah.
Then the actuary that actually does it gets 30%. What are you left with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's so much out there that you got to be careful.
Yep.
And you think nobody's going to fall for this scam, if it's a scam, but there's always somebody will fall. If somebody wasn't falling for it, they wouldn't do it. Even as most ludicrous things you've ever heard of, like they want money. Well, don't send money. Go down to Walmart and buy gift cards, and somebody will do it.
Do you recall, and now I'm going to go back into the 70s, I think, the penny stock boom.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, make a fortune in penny stocks and all of that. And people were actually buying stocks for 6 cents and selling them for 14 cents. And there was a big rush for people to do that. Well, I knew this girl, sweetheart, nice girl. And so anyway, we're talking. She said, well, I bought some stock the other day from one of these guys that called, and it was, I feel so good. He guaranteed that they are close to a breakthrough
Oh yeah.
for an AIDS vaccine. And we're doing work with the gay community. And won't you help support us by making an investment? And
Yep.
this investment is going to pay you such dividends when we get the virus identified
Yep.
and a vaccine is developed for it. And think of the lives that you'll save. She did it. She gave him $3,000 for a stock that was like trading for like 4 cents a
Yeah.
share.
It's most of it's worthless. It's pure
Yeah.
speculation.
Well, guess what? About 6 months later, she went to check up on it, and it was out of business.
yeah.
Yeah. What a surprise, huh? But they prey on people by
Oh,
dropping
absolutely.
buzzwords like, it's to conquer AIDS, or it's for the children.
I know somebody very close. Well, I shouldn't say very close. I know somebody who seems to draw all these kind of people. And wonder if they don't trade sucker list.
Of course I do.
This guy will buy anything, and I'll sell you his name for so much, and then he turns around and sells it to somebody else.
Yep.
Because this guy gets too many of these off-the-wall appeals.
Yeah.
And
Now, friends, my dear friends, my elder friends, I get solicitations in the mail. I get a 12-page info bulletin by some guy, the greatest stock picker of all times.
oh yeah,
Yeah, and he's going to share with you a secret stock that is going to skyrocket. And it is an idea for a chocolate wastebasket. Okay?
something really crazy.
Yeah. And now call me, and I will take your credit card over the phone, and you'll become one of my subscribers. And you'll get the inside information, or everything you need to know about this. I'll even set you up with a broker that will sell you the stock.
Yep.
If you folks get stuff like that, and there's a spate of it around, throw it away. Don't open it. Don't read it. Don't believe it. If you need to put papers down for your dog,
Birdcage.
in his dog house or something, use it for that.
But-
Otherwise, to start the fireplace, light it, but don't read it.
Even our local paper, Bill, almost weekly or every other day, has got a half a page ad, usually on the back, and it runs the top to the bottom, and it's obviously the same company because it's the same pitch, but it's different items. They got one where they're selling you bags of silver coins, and only people whose zip code are listed are eligible. Well, guess what? Your zip code's going to be listed.
That's right. Massachusetts is #1.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. And it's so blatant if you read it and really look at what did he just say? What did this article just say? This sentence? Wait a minute here. There's something wrong. But yet the newspaper continues to, I know they're in business to make money, but then on the other hand, on that page before that, don't tell us how upstanding you are and you're working out for the people of your readers and all this stuff. If you really were, you wouldn't be running this kind of crap.
The one I love is those guys. You've been selected for a sack of rare coins.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Well, if you eventually can sift your way down through all the BS, there's 24 coins in a sack. Okay? And yet, they have a picture of these morons with security guard uniforms on, moving boxes of these, sending them out to friends of yours. Okay? But Dwayne, the 24 coins would fit in a bag that size, and they put them in a box this size.
And if they're so damn rare and you got them, and they're so valuable, why are you selling them? Why don't you just cash them in?
Why don't you search through them, get all the rare ones, sell them, and then dump the rest, you know? If it's such a good deal, well, these are never to be repeated offers.
Oh, never.
I mean, this is just... You know what else drives me crazy? And we're running out of time, but this... All the things that drives me insane. The ads for wounded warriors and the outfits that build homes for disabled veterans on TV, soliciting donations. What bothers me is not that they're doing that. What bothers me is that the damn government isn't taking care of the veterans. The people, for heaven's sakes, that went to Vietnam or went to North Korea and fought and lost a leg or an arm or something, disabled. You mean to say that they're living in hovels? They are.
Yeah, they shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to have wounded warriors.
That's right.
They shouldn't have to have DAV. They shouldn't have to have all that stuff. We should have stepped up long time ago, adequately, and taken care of these people.
Absolutely right. This just drives me nuts. And you know what? I have just enough time for one more thing that makes my head explode every time I think of it.
Back away from the TV, folks. It could get messy.
How many of you folks are listening to the debate down in Washington about the Build Back Better spending program of this current administration? They're going to spend money willy-nilly on the sappiest, stupid programs that we could possibly conceive.
Yep.
But yet, we have Social Security and Medicare that are both
going belly up.
That are going belly up and that will go belly up, and they're not doing a damn thing. They could have done it 20 years ago.
And fighting over, should we rebuild the bridges and roads? Well, of course we should. The damn things are falling down.
Yeah, exactly. Wait till they collapse. We're going to have a campaign we're gonna give $700 million to schools to help them integrate left-handed children into the classroom.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
the
it's
indignities
crazy
the
stuff.
left-handed people have to put up
But
with.
we could just go through the Congress and just take them all out and say you're unemployed, goodbye. We're going to we're going to have new elections.
Do you know something? And I mean this sincerely. If we came to Norfolk and picked out 454 people at random, just picking names out of a hat, and sent them down to Washington as the Congress, would be 9 miles ahead.
I talked to a friend of mine yesterday. It was his birthday. He had been he worked for IBM. He worked for Bell Helicopter, Triton Technicals. And he said, you know, he says, I could sit down and pick 20 people to run this government, and it would run a hell of a lot better than all the monkeys we got in Washington.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, when you stop and think of all the work that went into the Simpson-Bowles report on how to save Medicare and Social Security, and it's just
rocket
simple
science.
stuff.
No,
Go up
it
a
is.
percent here on this, and extend the age bracket upwards 20%, and start also reinstituting the Social Security fund. Never mind putting it in the general
Yeah,
fund.
where everybody picks at it and
That's
takes
right.
it out.
For heaven's sakes, they could solve this in no time, but they can't. They can't do it. The Democrats will not make the first suggestion, because then they'll say, the Republicans will say we're wasting money. The Republicans won't make the first remark, because the Democrats will say that's our program. Franklin Delano Roosevelt did that. Who the hell are you to be?
Just like one side was holding up the money for the government to keep the government going because of the mass mandates, for Christ's sake. One didn't want mass mandates. They said, all right, we'll shut the government down.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, what kind of cooperation, what kind of Americanism is that?
I mean, you could probably, well, I'm sure you could, pick, as you said, 20 people, and they could go down there and take over the government and do a better job than all the rest.
Absolutely.
Yeah, boy, oh boy. Folks, my blood pressure is now up about 800 over 700. So we'll have to call a halt to this section of the Bill Crane Report. But we'll be back to pick up right where we left off in our next...
Maybe sooner than you want.
That's right. In your next episode, which will probably be coming right up. So, stay tuned, go take a bathroom break, and we'll be back at you.
Take care, all.